Some people will never become rich, and no, it's not about your upbringing, your parents, your gender, or the color of your skin. Let us explain. Welcome to Rich Horizons. These 100 dots symbolize the world's population from a quality of life and living standard perspective. To be rich means you're in the top 20%. To be poor, as you guessed, is to be in the bottom 20%. Everyone in the middle is termed the middle class, which can be divided into upper and lower middle class, but that's not our focus here. Being rich is relative. You are only rich compared to others. To qualify as rich, 80% of the comparable population must have a lower quality of life than you do. This applies on both a macro level and within your local community. Statistically, if we agree that this top 20% rule in terms of living standards holds, then 80% of the population will never be rich. So, is that the end of the story? Not quite. Because we judge our wealth and quality of life in comparison to others, the laws of basic math don't allow everyone to be in the top 20%, as it would no longer be the top 20%. If we compare today's quality of life from a historical perspective, almost everyone on Earth today has a higher standard of living than someone who lived 100 years ago. Here's the mind-blowing part. Unless you're in the bottom 0.001% of the population, you enjoy a higher quality of life than most kings and queens in history. If you were a king in the 1600s or earlier and got sick, you basically relied on witchcraft and alcohol. Life expectancy was under 40 years, and most diseases could kill you because witchcraft wasn't effective. It took 200 more years to start developing medicine. So, we've been living better than kings for a while, with our cell phones, electricity, water access, travel, and no traditional slavery. Yet, you don't feel rich because the top 20% rule applies. You are only rich if you are doing better than your peers. But, Rich Horizons, what does it take to make it to the top 20%? And why aren't more people willing to do whatever it takes? We're glad you asked, imaginary voice in our head. It boils down to two simple truths, one of which is harder to digest. Here's why most people don't make the leap into the top 20% in terms of living conditions. Firstly, on a macro scale, it's about access to resources, information, religious culture, and infrastructure. This is why everyone in Switzerland is considered rich compared to those in South Sudan. Poor people love this argument because their poverty generally stems from factors outside their control. Governments in struggling countries often waste money and keep everyone poor instead of building effective departments to improve the population, which is factually true in many of these countries. The second truth, which is harder to accept, is on a micro scale. Most people don't become locally rich because they aren't willing to learn and make the sacrifices required for success. Only a small subset of the population is willing to sacrifice decades of their lives and embrace high levels of risk with a very small chance of success to break out of the general population for financial and societal gain. This happens in both rich and poor countries. Everywhere you look, you can find examples of people who came from nothing and achieved greatness, so it is possible. What most people ignore is the dramatic level of sacrifice and discipline required to make the leap. If the biggest factor keeping you in poverty is geographical, it often requires leaving your roots behind to move to places with more opportunities. It's incredibly hard to leave your hometown, leave the familiar, and venture into the unknown alone. Statistically, you'll be born, educated, find a partner, work, and probably die within a 30-mile radius from where you were born. This is a wake-up call for those watching this video. If you can't maximize the opportunities available to you regionally, you'll likely live an average, decent life but nothing extraordinary. The second part involves discovering your physical and mental limits. Can you work 8 hours a day, 10 to 12 to 14 hours a day? Are you able to learn and continue doing so without immediate results? This relies on the ability to delay gratification, a concept unfamiliar to the 80%. Self-control is crucial. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. Are you willing to learn daily and apply what you learn over medium to long periods, knowing you'll be better off for it? If so, there's a specific tool that leverages the smartest minds in the world to measurably improve your life based on academic research, like what's mentioned in this video. There are no other tools like it because we built it. We created the Rich Horizons app to be your executive coaching tool right in your pocket. Scan the QR code on the screen to get a yearly subscription at 25% off. Money, success, and fame are long-term games of delayed gratification. relying on work that compounds over time until a goal is achieved. Are you willing to sacrifice the present for the future? How much sacrifice are you willing to make? Will you work when others are partying? Will you learn valuable skills instead of seeking entertainment? Are you willing to be ridiculed for your efforts, knowing practice and failure are part of the journey? Most people are not, and many who try will quit at different stages. The catch is that richness is a delayed gratification game. You only win at the very end. If you quit at 20%, 50%, or 80%, you get nothing. Wealth is the reward for successfully bearing the sacrifice and coming out on the other side. Luck and timing also play significant roles. If you're watching this video, you've already won the luck part. If you're alive and don't have major physical or mental disabilities, you've already won the luck part. You have access to technology, quality information, and the largest marketplace for opportunities humanity has ever known. Each generation has unique opportunities to build wealth. For us, it was the internet revolution. If we were born 20 years earlier, we probably wouldn't be able to connect with you as we do now. If you're born today, social media as we know it might be oversaturated, and your opportunity might lie in the gamification of AI or digital realities. Timing is crucial. You probably don't want to start a physical newspaper business now. Some elevators go up, and some go down. Be careful which elevator you choose. Find where the opportunities of your time are and focus there. Gain specialized knowledge in a field where value is generated and society will pay for your skills. Most people aren't willing to learn how to use present-day tools because they're fixated on tools of the past. Those who do learn have a massive competitive advantage. That's your opportunity. Money, wealth, and success are less complicated than they seem. Life is a winnable game, but you need to learn the rules to play it right. Click the top right corner to watch our video on how to do just that. Once you learn the rules, you'll discover new concepts like asymmetric risk or marginal utility. Master these concepts, and you'll see how others amassed great fortunes. But that's for future videos. Since you're part of the Rich Horizons family and watch our videos till the end, here's a secret bonus just for you. Your ability to win isn't dependent on others. You'll win based on your actions today, tomorrow, and every day moving forward. It doesn't matter what others think, say, or do. You're not racing against them. You're racing against what makes your current life miserable, most of which is under your control. Even if you don't win big, you can make your life suck less, so do it. Go through life believing everything good can happen to you, and ignore the naysayers. You'll find yourself surrounded by opportunities they're blind to. You get wealthy when you don't listen to those who say it can't be done. So, are you going to live based on what you want, or will you let others decide your life? Let's see how many of you aim not just for the top 20%, but for the very top. If that sounds like you, write top in the comments.